All right, hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. This channel is for educational purposes, and we check into great theories, concepts, and discoveries that are off the beaten path, things you might not know about because they've been suppressed, and um, we're trying to resuscitate these lost theories, and let you know about them because they might really benefit your life in terms of your quest for better spiritual, mental, and physical health. And this is a segment that we have called Your Blind Side, and is for some of you patriots, anons, diggers, truthers out there who may be preoccupied with the info war at the current time, and maybe you're not um, paying attention to the big picture or seeing some of the wider trends. And um, I will be here hopefully to warn you about things that might be in your blind spots or your six, your, um, you know, shadow. And what I'd like to emphasize today is just the cosmic nature of what is going on. I think we get a little bit distracted with, you know, the bombastic and um, the retributive and the accountability. These are things that, the patriots want. They want to see some accountability. They're tired of seeing people failing upward. They're tired of seeing people being rewarded for criminality and just walking off scot-free, brazenly flaunting the law, and nothing happens. And there's a bunch of rhinos out there who just kind of let it all happen, and it is utterly frustrating, and it can definitely piss you off. And I'm there with you, no doubt. But at the same time, um, this is not your pay grade. Um, there's things that you can do, and there's things that you don't really have control of. And I admit you might have a little bit of control over the retribution that is laid out, no doubt. But at the same time, there's more work that needs to be done. And um, there are, that's what I'm trying to say, is that there are cosmic requirements here. This is not just like the golden age as declared by the administration or the alliance or the white hats, or this is some type of civil war against the globalists that we're going to win, and that, you know, then that, uh, you know, saves the world. That's the start. But this is a much bigger type of situation that is cosmic in nature, meaning, or if you want to call it the age of Aquarius, and if you, uh, that seems to be a theme that has gone on throughout history, going back through, this is the precession of the equinoxes. If you look in Giorgio de Santillana, Herta von Detjen's book, Hamlet's Mill, um, people all over the world celebrated the um, moving into a new age processionally. And the procession, it's a mill, meaning it grinds the other direction. Whereas we move through the zodiac from, Aries to Taurus to Gemini to Cancer to Leo, Virgo and Libra, and so on. Processionally, we move backwards through this. This is the wobble, that so-called wobble that occurs, you know, uh, with the Earth axis. And um, the precession occurs much, much, much more slowly, 26,000 times slower, instead of going through the whole cycle in 1 year. It goes through the whole cycle in 26,000 years or thereabouts. And it goes backwards. So it takes um, over 2,000 years just to go through 1/12 of the cycle, to go from Aquarius, or, well, we are moving into the age of Aquarius. So we're moving from Pisces to Aquarius. Pisces is the fish, fishes. That all that imagery was very prevalent during, um, the so-called time of Jesus. Uh, at the time of Jesus, this was the beginning of the cycle, and now we are at the end of that cycle. Um, so too, before that, we were in the age of Aries, and so that is where all the lamb imagery comes in. Um, and This was, very important for the ancient people. Started wars and such like. There was uh, a lot of contention as to when it moved from the age of Taurus to the age of Aries, 4,000 years ago, 4,000 plus years ago. Um, you know, there was the cult of the bull for Taurus, and then there was the cult of the lamb or ram for Aries. And certain people chose one over the other because it goes so slowly that you never really know when you are crossing the border, when it is cosmically, um, ordained that you have moved into the new age. And then when you do move into that new age, all of the imagery, kicks in, uh, theoretically. So we're going to be moving into this age of Aquarius, or we already have moved into, or we're phasing into it. It takes, probably 100, 200 years to kind of know for sure whether we phased in or not. Um, and who knows what this all means, in terms of the stars that are out there, and the shape of the earth, how what is really happening out there. I don't really know, but I do know that this is a bigger thing than just kind of seeing it as a political struggle, and that cosmically, uh, a lot more is required of you, than just kind of like kicking back and having popcorn and waiting for, um, bad things to happen to bad people. You actually haven't met the requirements. None of us have. We all need to get back to work in terms of red pilling ourselves, understanding what's going on, understanding the nature of reality, doing some meditation, doing some yoga, doing some exercise, maybe taking some psychedelics, taking some time, getting some sunshine, getting some groundedness, and trying to see the big picture. And in particular, taking our digging and going back further and further and further into history, because I think a lot of you have recognized that, well, it seems like everything I do research on, if I find out that I've been lied to, I've been deceived, what I thought was true turned out not to be. Well, as you start going further and further back into history, that rule continues to apply. And so you start uncovering more and more and more and more. Now, that hasn't been really needed for the info war because most of that is 20th and 21st century stuff. But we still have an inheritance of things that we hold dear and believe in that need that kind of scrutiny, and we need to make some adjustments. And again, what I would recommend is that once we recognize that Christianity is a psychological operation, just like everything else, and that it is not suitable for moving forward, especially because it's a fish thing and not an Aquarius thing, um, we are going to want to move forward on the basis of deism. And deism is the belief in one God who is good and who has endowed humans with higher mental, spiritual, and faculties that enable us, such as reason, intuition, inspiration, aesthetic sense of justice, um, conscience. And these are things that we enable us, uh, along with enable us to observe um, the creation along with their laws of physics, math, and geometry, the beauty of nature, to behold God's creation directly and to understand God directly, not through intermediaries like pastors, popes, and bishops, and rabbis, and imams, and not indirectly through books, but directly through our own faculties. And that is the key cosmic uh, adjustment that we have to be ready for. So, you know, take a little time, enjoy, you know, watching the punishments and or whatever. You know, I'm not telling you not to have a good time, but in the meantime, get yourself redeployed here for the next phase, the implementation phase, because we do not want to implement some stuff that's already contaminated. We don't want to implement some stuff that is obsolete. We don't want to implement some stuff that is a psyop, because that'd be, you know, playing right back into their hands. Um, and so we've got to get this right. And in order to do that, we're going to need to do some more work. Now, like I said, enjoy it or whatever, but um, get ready to make some more changes. Okay, like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in today. Have a great day, and remember to watch your blind side.